Yeah, I mean, the whole fragileness, the old fragileness of our body, right, is it's very fluid. And as we can see about in the world, what's going on with the whole thing with the flu, and how we're so interconnected, right? Like we're so, at some level we think we're here in this moment, and it seems very real and solid because we're in gravity and our bodies are heavy. Everything, this world is, this planet is a heavy planet. So it feels really real and like the next moment's going to arise. But when this other thing happens, you realize how fragile we are as biological beings. That it comes and it goes rather quickly. And it doesn't take much, actually, to create immense scare. And you kind of lose the fact that this is solid anymore. It's like, oh my God, it could, not so solid. Like it freaks the whole planet out. When we realize, oh my God, we're interconnected. That's the real thing is that the whole story is really that we're interconnected like this. We forget we're all worried about our own selves, but actually we're so interconnected to this. It's a reminder, that connection, that we all are. When I look at each person, I don't see you. I see you, but I see her and you, him and you, her and you, him and you, and then plus everything. So but each person has their own beauty with everything. So everything's in you, and you're there too. And how much you're there dictates the presence that you become. As you get wider and more connected and feel it more inside you, you get wider and quieter. It's just a natural thing for it to arise that way. When you realize that everything, you start to feel it, everything is starting to kind of feel more connected. So connection is that kind of the first level where you start feeling a connection to somebody. Some people are going to feel more connected than others. But there's something that is past the human connection, our mind connection, where we see, oh, I'm connected to you. Not quite connected to you. Yeah, really connected with you. Those are kind of mind decisions based on kind of a limited viewpoint of what you look at somebody. But as you get wider, as you get more connected to silence in yourself, you'll start to notice that you are allowing people who you wouldn't expect to connect with, let that come in quicker and quicker. It feels more natural until the place where you ultimately want to be, which is everything's inside, there is no separation, it's all one, and you operate your whole existence in that reality. And it's all about that's like you keep fine-tuning that with each person. You guys are talking about the idea of ideas come in, they get stuck, you sleep, and then you wake up, and you have, there's the answer, right? Like you're pushing, and then all of a sudden the pushing is let go. So you're kind of grasping, pushing, trying to figure it all out, pushing, and then you go to sleep, and then, wow, that was easy. Or you take a shower. That's always interesting. Like we are pushing constantly for answers, for things. And if we keep pushing, like most people keep pushing, it never gets realized because they don't realize that you need to push and then let go. Push, let go. Push, let go. It's this constant pushing and then go. It's kind of like the zone when they say, I'm pushing, all of a sudden I'm in this other place. What's going on? Everything looks so easy. It's like, it's beautiful. You're like with someone, you're pushing, trying to get closer, and if you get really connected, all of a sudden that separation is gone. It feels like there's no barriers there. I'm sure we've all had those experiences, people, when it feels like there's no barriers. It's just, oh wow, do you feel this? Huh? Whatever this is, we're feeling it right now, right? It's like it's so incredible And you're just having so much fun because now this brain can talk in it, can do all kinds of stuff in it, but you're like, there's an ease about it. It's quite beautiful. It's like you're trying to meditate to get to that place. But it's just as easy to be with someone and connect with them and keep looking at them. And then that becomes its own opening. Like you're pushing to know you. Like even meditating here, like we're trying to push to get somewhere to kind of connect. And then it's like, if you just like, for a second, there's an opening there. And you start to see that more and more. And once you kind of realize that it seems to be the nature of this, there needs to be some, but there's too much this, and then it grinds. It's a grinding thing. The mind just constantly grinds, and so there's no space there.
That's the idea, the so-called concept of letting go.
Yes.
That's the idea that you just let it happen.
Yeah, and there's a place where you can't just say, okay, I'm going to let it go. I mean, just, to tell yourself to do it, it's tricky because you can't say, okay, let myself go and then I'll just be here. You still need to push some kind of a oomph, and then in that, that's the kind of the knowing, know thyself. There's a knowingness there. There's one thing that I know, working with a lot of people, the one thing is so consistent is everyone has that space. Everybody. They don't realize it, but they have the space. I can see it. Everyone's got it here. It's everywhere. Like you, I see you in everywhere. I see you everywhere. It's like you everywhere. You're here, but you're everywhere. It's just so incredible to see that. And everyone's had these experiences of moments, like moments pop, moments pop, moments pop. They could be small moments, Some people are like, they get it in the moment of the simplest things, and there it is. Whoa, I got present. What was that? What's that all about? And there's moments when you get these things, and some of the people you would never expect to have these moments have some of the most amazing moments. But they're not spiritual. They don't call themselves spiritual. They don't lay it out in a way that, they probably wouldn't even come here to try to, become present. But yet, it's in them. It's so fascinating because they don't know how to communicate it. They don't communicate to anybody, but it's there.
Well, what's some insights? As for example, when I drove over here, remember I was talking about this show.
Yes.
I've driven over to this place maybe a handful of times now.
Yes.
And I would have to say, when I'm listening to the radio, I'm not present. Like I can't remember. I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Right, but you can't remember.
Driving over because I was listening to dreams.
Yes.
What are some tricks or things that you do to try to maintain presence? Is it like just maybe holding onto the steering wheel more?
Yeah.
Is when I come here and meditate. I find, as I mentioned, it's a relief.
Yes.
It's nice. It's a nice change.
Right.
You're not thinking.
Yes.
But I think one of the things we strive for is to try to attain that
while you're driving.
We're sitting, more than when we're just sitting here.
Yeah.
And it seems like since you've done this a lot more, are there any insights or tricks or techniques for that?
Well, I wouldn't call them
driving, but
I wouldn't call them tricks because you don't want tricks to you want to know. You want this kind of this knowingness that comes in.
Okay.
Because a trick or whatever will just kind of like last for a moment and then it kind of goes away. Even techniques are good, but you gotta, same thing there. Technique is pushing, but then you gotta let go. Right? You gotta push the technique, but then there's some point where you have to, if you keep using the technique over and over, it doesn't really, it'll help you for a very short time and then it moves away really quickly. Because you can use the technique and try to breathe or whatever in your driving, but then all of a sudden, you do flip the channel, all of a sudden your mind goes to that thing. And you're drawn to it, right? Like, you're drawn to it, and then like everyone's had the experience where they drive for a length of time, like, how did I get here? What happened? Exactly. I can't believe I didn't hit anybody. So it's like that kind of experience where you have multiple things going on. This whole thing is, think about all the things that are going on right this moment. It's insane. It's crazy. If you look at the whole world, everything's going on right now. You can't fathom it. The mind would just completely fry itself. So what we do is we keep it in this room. We try to keep our awareness in the room, or try to keep our awareness on the radio, or just driving. And then you kind of fine-tune your presence to smaller spaces. Then it's kind of here, you're like opening up and feel the sounds, feel the space, get a little wider, right? And that's what you're looking to do when you get in the car. How do I just be?
Yeah,
right?
Like you're just aware of whatever it is. You're aware, like you said, of the steering wheel, of your body on your seat or whatever. And
Right.
aware of the radio being on and the cars around you. And
Yes.
flow with that,
Yeah.
allowing whatever is to be.
Yeah, and I think that, that's like that. Like when I work with people exercising or whatever, it's like you want them to, the idea is to feel your body, right? We try to get people to go into their body because they're in their heads. So let's start getting connected to this thing again, like, oh, this thing's pretty good. It's a cool thing, It's awesome. And yet we're so dominated here, you don't really, this thing's just kind of, oh, there it is, when it hurts or whatever, that's when it shows up. Or when you exercise and you feel that, oh, this is really hard. But it's about trying to get into that space. That's the first thing we're trying to get into, is just to feel, right? Just to, I touch my handlebars or steering wheel. Oh, what's it feel like on my, wait a minute. And then, so it's like, it's a kind of a step process. You're like feeling it, but then your mind's gonna go, okay, great, now what? It wants, what's next? The mind is like that. Okay, I'm sitting here present, quiet. All right, what's next? Mind's going on. What's next? Okay, what are we gonna do next? This is great. What's next? It just has this push, right? That's that push that the mind is kind of doing that. So you're like this, and you're feeling that, like, okay, but then you kind of let it keep coming. Oh, wait a second. Actually, this steering wheel's. Wow, I feel it. Actually feel it in me. Oh, wow. How could that steering wheel be in me? That seems like it's outside of me. No, wait a minute. But when I close my eyes, it feels like it's kind of in me, right? Open my eyes, it feels like it's out of me, but I still feel it. So you're just starting to explore. It's not to stay in one space. Oh, this. No. It's to explore, to challenge, because the mind wants to be challenged constantly. It's like it just wants to know. It has this desire, like a child. What's this, Daddy? What's that, Daddy? What's this, Daddy? What's this, Daddy? What's that? It's constant. We don't really learn that. We don't lose that, and you don't want to lose that here either. It's not like trying to get a technique to get somewhere. You don't want to get anywhere, actually. You want to keep going. And so the more you can take in, and then you're like playing with it like, oh, is it really here? Yeah, maybe it's not really here. Maybe I think it's here, but it's not really here. That's my steering wheel. Oh, interesting. You're just constantly checking this out, this reality. You're testing the crap out of it. You're playing with it all the time. So the more you interact with it, the more you're going to be present. First of all, it'll give you that beautiful presence. That's a lot of fun. And when you take it and don't look at it as a steering wheel, but look at it as the totality of many things. It's got space in it, right? It's got a lot in it. The road, I'm driving the road and I feel it. The road, oh my God, the road, I can feel it in me. Wow, how's the road in me? How's that possible? But yes, it's possible. So you're starting to kind of like challenge yourself. It's just a constant like playing and challenging yourself to the point where that becomes your way.
So I guess it's just you pay attention would be one thing. In other words, when I drive home
Yes.
today, maybe not turn on the radio and just pay attention to everything. The road, the steering wheel. Oh, you're supposed to when you're driving, but not go into autopilot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Right. I would like, constantly inquiring about things, questioning, feeling like what is this? You
Right.
just kind of like, ultimately you're wanting to be one with it. I mean, until you're not one with it, you're beyond that. But one is kind of the place you want to try to keep getting to, so that you're like, oh my God, I can feel all this stuff, and I can see someone, I can see them, right? I can experience them. I just kind of know them without even really. I mean, I can see people. Oh wow, there they are. I see them, right? But the inquiry is so important part of it. That's why techniques are good to a certain level, but you don't rely on them. I mean, that's why the voice, to show the voice, when the coaches tell these very, people are very good. They're very technical. It's like a speech, right? You get the speech down, very technical, but but they always say the same thing. If you want to get to the next level, you gotta let all that go. Which means you gotta let all that training go. You gotta let it go, let it all go. Let it go. Take all those things you did over and over and over again, you gotta let it go. That'll open you up to the other space. That's that push, and then there's that letting go, you said earlier. Letting go. But that's the challenge part. That letting go is the hardest part. That actually is the hardest part. It's not the easiest part. It's the hardest part. The work before that's easy, actually, because it's very structured. I know, you shoot a basketball, you do this. I mean, in this space here, it's easy. We've created lots of structures and things to, learning and all this stuff to get to some level, right? But from this space to jumping in between where there's space into this other place, that's everything. Not this. This is really everything. But that's the one that's the most difficult to communicate. Teaching is easy. Shoot a basketball, physics, it's all pretty straightforward. We've done that for a long, long time. But the jumping space is the spiritual space, some people would call, into the other place. The zone. What's the zone? Well, it's that space to jump. It's like it goes over. The zone is not the stuff before, it's the thing that rises afterwards. And that jump space it feels like it's huge, but it's not. It's nothing really, but it's difficult for us to realize that.
So when we meditate, we're actually trying to get into that space, and the secret, or what we try to achieve, is to try to be in that space all the time.
Yes.
A lot of the time.
Yes.
And so when you say it's a big jump, we're trying to learn baby steps to try to get there.
Well, and the thing about that, too, is the space that space completely changes this. Everything. Nothing here is the same as here. It's completely different over here. Okay. So that space, this magical space here that comes from the stuff over here, the doing part, the pushing part, to the space here before it gets over here, you can't explain it. I mean, it's nothing like meditation. It's nothing like meditation. This space over here is not like that. It's peaceful, but it's not. It's quiet, but it's not. It breaks all the hot and cold stuff. You're in between. It's neither hot nor cold. It's a lot of things, right? But it's the space that we're trying to get closer to. So you sit here, like you said, you were kind of, a lot of stuff caught in this world, physical and all this stuff. And then for a moment, you get kind of closer to it. And as you get closer, it gets quieter. And knowing things, and maybe things are magical start to rise. Things start to come in. People look differently. Things feel brighter. Just things start to. You're getting closer to your essence when that starts to happen, and then trusting the essence will take you to this other space, and connecting with that is really the magic space. But it is just. Yeah, I think it's just finding that, getting closer and closer, and keep getting. Driving is a way. Everything is a way. So never think of anything. The heat is a way, right? It just allows for you to, because you could say about that heat, with your heat. What is that? Not it's hot. That doesn't do much, right?
That's very comfortable.
Right. So the mind says uncomfortable, but it doesn't know why. It doesn't know really what it is. It just says, it just gives a blanket statement, but it's not inquiring into it. Oh, heat. Interesting. Now if I said, heat, interesting, then all of a sudden I'm like, my mind's like, oh, well, let's go check this out. Let's go see what this is. Let's go play in this stuff for a moment. Not like, it's this. Because it's never this. It is never this. It feels like it's this to the head, but it's never this. That will stop you over and over and over again, and you'll never get that space to that space. It's when you like hit this and you're like, oh, heat, interesting. Then you start to play in this space a little bit. Because now you're like checking it out. Oh, what is this? Where is this? Where is this stuff? Where is this heat? Where is it? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Where is it? I don't close my eyes, I don't know where it is now. Open my eyes, it feels like it's right here. But you close your eyes in it, and I guarantee it'll feel different. You kind of play with it differently. So just playing with everything. And some things are going to be easier because you'll have some space around it, and you'll be able to play with it. If you have no space, it gets hot, and then you have no space, it just is hot. That's all it is. And then that thing that was there to say, hey, learn something here, and then it doesn't get learned. So it's fantastic. Every moment it's arising in this way. And that's why life's so beautiful. Because once you realize that's what's arising, it's never boring. It's never the same. There's no same old. It's a constant possibility of realization in this space. So just know that every moment is happening. You don't have to create it. It's just here. And you're just fine-tuning that.
No.
Yeah.
Also, like when you feel heat in your body, you can just feel the sensations and they will change.
Yeah, just simple like that. Something simple like that, right?
It's like, oh, I have heat, my stomach feels hot, or whatever goes on.
Yeah.
But then you also get to notice that you're not going to overboil or something, whatever the fear or concern.
Right, you're just kind of
is,
slowing the mind down.
You notice that, oh, I'm hot
Yeah.
right now. And then pretty soon you have some other sensation or whatever.
I think you're just slowing the mind from labeling it so quickly. Because once you label it quickly, it seems like it's solid. And it seems like it's true. But it's not solid and it's not true once you go deeper into it. So you can play with it, right? Like next time when this arises, I'm going to sit here. I may feel uncomfortable, but let me just see if I can, for a moment, not make it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just for a moment. Like, oh my God, I just did that for a moment. Now I'm still hot, but I'm going to go. But for a moment, I was like, I could see something I didn't see before. That's pretty beautiful. So, any other questions? Anybody have any? Yeah.
No question.
Comments, statements?
Can you talk about the overactive mind or the fear? A lot of the stuff that's going on in the world and stuff has brought on
Yeah.
fear. And in one way, anyway, that's the question. Yeah. And just overactive, I find myself
Angst?
And I'm noticing that I try to look for safety, but I try to look at, again, like last week I talked about, going to the store of reason or whatever. But so yeah, no, just a minute ago I did kind of let it go a little bit, 'cause I'm like,
Grasping for it, pushing. And how'd you let it go?
I heard what Sharon said about just like
Feeling
what it is,
Yeah.
realizing, and then actually just kind of like, realizing that I am grasping and not having to and stuff.
Yeah.
And also looking at Buddha.
There's help everywhere. When you get caught in yourself and it's like, me against that, the thing, and you feel like oh my God, there's too much. Well, it's space and presence is here. And it's infinitely more powerful than anything that can arise. Because anything that can arise will come and go. And you just kind of let this space, just feel it again. If you lose sight of that. We just keep losing, we just keep collapsing into this thing, and then we lose sight of everything. It just happens so quick. And then it can catch you there, and it's hard to get out sometimes when you're like that. But it's simple, right? Just kind of connect to space in the room, to space in your body. Use this body to help out. And that's kind of like you're just feeling that connection of, in this outer physical world, it's really, it's not really, it just comes in. This is going to be a back page story. X number of days, X number of months, X number of whatever. It all just goes in the back. It eventually goes to the back of the paper, so to speak. It just goes away. It's very now. It seems like it's now, but it holds that too. So it holds this and it holds this. It holds this moment, but it holds this moment. And if you only hold this moment, then yes, you're going to get caught into it. But if you can hold this moment here and this moment at the same time, then you can see the truth that it'll go away. Doesn't exist really down here. It's all of a sudden, where'd it go? It constantly does this, right? Our news feeds are this. They're up in front here, and before you know it, where'd it go? It's not even on the home page anymore.
Yeah, it's like that virus that's in the news, right? Everyone, you become apprehensive and scared.
Right, I think he was talking
about that. I don't have the virus. I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not sick. You guys aren't sick.
Mm-hmm.
But yet if you get caught up with thinking about it, then you have a lot of negative emotions. Fear, apprehensive, all of these things. And so it's just another, I think, example where if you can take a step back and try to put it in perspective.
Yes. Well, that's like taking the perspective of you're driving and then you're not. You're doing something else. This here and then it's not. Everything is here and then it's not on this level. Everything. There is nothing that's not this. That's why if you connect only in that space, that's the idea of meditation, is to open that up, to see, hopefully to see some truth. Hopefully to see some truth, the existence of ourselves in it, the finality of it, because, we're all final too, right now. And then you just get closer to that. It's just kind of getting closer to that truth. So that you're realizing at the deepest level that is here and not here. Everything is. On the physical plane, everything is. But everyone here though, is in this everywhere, everything space too. That little thing is nothing in it. It's like, okay, there it is. It's a cute little thing. It's very interesting. This little virus thing is very funny. It's interesting. Okay. That's the universe. It's like, let's play with this. And blows it away. So you just allow for that to come in. If there's fear there, and you just feel that, and same thing. Feel in the body and play with that. Right? Just play with that and see if that can all of a sudden, if whatever you're feeling, don't just blow it off and think something else. You kind of want to let it feel it. Where is it? Okay. Really, where is it in me? Right? Where is that thought really in me? I don't really know where it is. It's kind of not really in me. So you're just getting closer to yourself.
Yeah, so what you're speaking of is the observer, right? In other words, you might have fear.
Yeah.
All these emotions, but if you can just take a step back from those.
Yes.
And just recognize they're there.
Right. That's a good start. It's not everything, but it's a great start.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great start. Allows for yourself to see the two parts of you, and then this one is
not just the driving, but the
yes,
emotion. Like
that's right.
Fear. I'm worried about this virus.
Exactly.
I'm worried about touching something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Well, thank you for sharing everything with me and yourselves. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.